Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising. Peace and love, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Come on in, come on in. Picking up where we left off at from yesterday. That's right. Grand Rising, D. Michelle. Peace, Brother Kamal. Peace, everybody. So, I hope you all, if you hadn't had a chance to be on the live yesterday or listen in to the replay, you may want to go and start there, because today we're going to be picking up on chapter 4 today. So just to get caught up on the last 3 chapters of the book, yeah, go check out the previous recording. Grand Rising, Brother Willie Rivers. I'm doing very well. How about yourself? All right, y'all coming on in. Let me get those likes up. We got 9 people in the building. I need to see the same likes on a thumbs up. Y'all know how we do. Get that algorithm going. Grand Rising from Chilliwack. Peace and love, Brother North. Peace and love to you. Grand Rising Vashia. I hope I'm saying your name correct. I'm loving the energy y'all coming in with. That's what's up. Loving it. So, let's see. We had an amazing class. It seems like our classes are getting longer and longer and longer. We are just having so much fun. It's not really a class. We're just like, it'd be like family reunions or something on virtual family reunions, because we're just taking the time to get to learn one another. We have fun. We laugh and just talk. It's an open, free forum for everyone to be able to express themselves, and things of that nature. So, I really enjoyed myself yesterday with our class and all of the new members that joined us on yesterday. It's really, becoming a great platform and a great community. So I'm super excited. Grand Rising, honey. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Sorry for me yarning. I apologize. So, chapter 4, or part 4, we're gonna move on. It says the title of nobility amendment 1810 to 1819. If any citizens of the United States shall accept, claim, receive, or retain any title of nobility or honor, or shall, without the consent of Congress, accept and retain any present, pension, office, or emolument of any kind whatever from any emperor, king, prince, or foreign power, such person shall cease to be a citizen of the United States and shall be incapable of holding any office of trust or profit under them or either of them. So this is that emolument clause that last week in our class, a lot of people had a hard time answering the question too. So it took almost 9 years, but on 12 March 1819, Virginia became the 13th and final state required to ratify the above amendment to the Constitution for the United States of America, not to be confused with the much later look-alike, sound-alike corporate constitution of the United States of America. So notice the differences in how it's spelled. You have lowercase u because this is the original constitution, and this is the de- dem- uh, democratic constitution. This is the original republic up here. Okay, so the title of nobility amendment added a strict, specific, and enforceable penalty or violation of already existing constitutional prohibition in Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8, loss of citizenship and inability to hold public office. So what are all these district courts and state courts and inhabited black robe bar member judges and attorneys sporting the title Esquire? I was about to watch one of your videos and I saw the live going on. Greetings, everyone. Peace. Welcome, Sister Shaya. Welcome, Brother Millionaire Status or Millionaire Status, whether you're a sister or brother, not sure. But welcome. Shay, I can't wait to be wealthy. You're already wealthy. They are, okay, so they are private courts operated in foreign jurisdictions by undeclared foreign agents. The American Bar Association has a treaty allowing it to function on American soil, which is grossly abused. What appear to be state statutes are issued under private copyright. Public documents are all full domain and cannot be copyrighted. So you have state, judge. Wow. Okay. The take-home news for American state citizens is that 1. No member of the Bar Association can occupy any public office associated with you, nor your state on the land, nor the continental United States in general. 2. If a bar association member is associated with any action pretending or having actual impact upon you or the land jurisdiction of the continental United States, that action is null and void. 3. None of the courts you commonly see rampaging around issuing charges and handing out orders have jurisdiction over your person or your property. And number 4, no act of version of Congress or any state legislature tainted by members of the Bar Association can be applied to you. The Bar Association members can work for the federal United States and for the Washington, D.C. municipality and the United States and the United Nations city-state. And all these foreign governments have created franchises that operate under your given name. They regularly attack these franchises and make false claims that seem to be addressed to you, a purposeful deceit called personage. But in fact, by maxim of law, those who create franchises are responsible for all debts and upkeep costs of those franchises. Yep, I am a lawyer. Maxim of law, we are responsible for what we create. Little snakes. Okay. Note the crimes involved. Personage. The crime of knowingly misrepresenting a living man or woman as a legal fiction, some form of corporation, such as a trust, public utility, or foundation. For example, knowingly mischaracterizing a living woman named Elizabeth Arden as if she were the corporate design company known as Elizabeth Arden Inc. is a crime of personage. Barratry. Yes, named after the Bar Association for good reason. The crime of knowingly bringing false claims and charges based on personage in order to use foreign statutory law against living people. These two crimes are routinely practiced by members of the Bar Association worldwide to inflict unjust punishments, defraud people of property, and to raise money for themselves and the banks they work for. The American Bar Association has violated their corporate charters, the Smith Act, and the Taft-Hartley Act with impunity. Fearing retribution, nobody has had guts enough to take them on and expose their criminality. Well, we are. I don't know about y'all, but Shea Butter is. Elizabeth Arden, a federal municipal franchise. Elizabeth Arden, federal state franchise, in her upper and lower. And then Elizabeth Arden in her all lowercase as a living woman with the dashes and colons. Okay, so that's very wow. This is crazy. Someone inboxed me about this last night. Okay, this is interesting. Let's keep reading, you guys. This is very interesting. See, it's saying that your upper and lower, if your upper and lower is technically a federal state franchise, this is basically what it's saying. And so to actually identify yourself, you really need to be writing your name in all lowercase, is basically what this diaphragm is saying. And somebody, I swear somebody just messaged me last night about this same thing. How ironic. This is crazy. Okay, it says, now right here is where a big confusion starts. Okay, let's see. 1. There are living people born on the land of the 50 states united who are civilian inhabitants of the organic states known to be birthright citizens of the continental United States. People who are owed all the guarantees of the Constitution, the Republican form of the government, and full enjoyment of their natural rights. Number 2, there are living people who were either born in federal territories or who are defined as federal United States citizens by default, contract, or treaty, who operate under the international jurisdiction of the sea as part of a democracy. They have only civil rights, which are granted or taken away by members of Congress. And then you have number 3, there are legal fiction persons, millions of them named after living American citizens or state citizens, all routinely called U.S. citizens, which I don't like to be called none of us citizens, or United States citizens. We have the actual organic state, and we have the states and states that only exist on paper. We have actual people who are citizens or citizens, and we have all sort of legal fiction entities that are being passed off as citizens. And you should asleep at the wheel. I'm saying you asleep at the wheel. Oh, see that? Okay. Who's responsible for this mess? It's a long list. You have the Holy See and the Vatican and all the popes since 1845. You have the British monarchs since 1845, the Crown Commercial Conglomerate since 1845, the Crown Temple and Bar Associations, the U.S. Army since 1863, the Joint Chiefs of Staff since 1944, the United Nations and the Secretary General since 1944, the United Nations since 1943, the Federal Reserve Association since 1911, the Federal Reserve System since 1913, The World Bank and International Bank of Reconstruction and Development since 1930, which is international, and of 1933 was domestic. Who said that was me? Uh, yeah, it might have been you too, Empress, but I think it was Brother Patrick that messaged me that yesterday. I have to check your messages and see if you asked me that too, because I don't know. I didn't get a message from you yesterday. If I did, I must have missed it, sis. So I have to go double check that. Um, the World Bank and International Bank of Reconstruction. Okay, so we have the International Monetary Fund since 1944. Then we have the Vatican Bank since 1930. The Bank of International Settlements since 1944. You have the United States of America Inc. since 1868. The United States Inc. Since 1944. The Federal Reserve since 2011. The United States of America since 2013. The members of the United States of Congress since 1861. The members of the United States of Congress since 1933. The Congress of the United States of America since 1868, and all presidents since Lincoln except Garfield and Kennedy and Trump. You got to add Trump in there. All right. It says, note, legalese caused the confusion. This is what caused the confusion, okay? Only people can be American state citizens. Living people have appellations, not names. Only things have names. Also, living people have autographs. Wow. Okay, you guys. So here goes the question about the signatures and the autographs. Okay. This is divine. This is very divine. So also living people have autographs. Only corporate officers have signatures. So corporate officers have signatures. Living people have autographs. And this is the difference, guys. And I highlighted this last year sometime, but wow, it's surfacing back around, okay? So I asked about it on the live. Okay, on the last night, how we should be signing or autographs. Okay, yep, that was you. And then Queen China, Queen Cherry did too. Queen Africa. Yep. She asked about the signatures, and you asked about how we should be signing as well. Absolutely, sis, you did. Okay. This is crazy. Absolutely. So, also in law, people are either described as, for example, John Quincy of the House Adams, or we say, or of the family of Adams, but this says of the House Adams, or denoted by the use of small letters in. So, as you can see here, it has all lowercase John dash Quincy then Adams. Okay, so we've been doing it correct, except for we've been kind of doing it the federal state citizen way with the upper and lower. So now we know better, you guys. We know better. Okay, so now that we know better, we're gonna do better, right? This doesn't agree with what you've been taught to think and do and say, but it is of vital importance to know. In legal parlance, the style in which a name is written tells lawyers what it is. All right. Great information. A name written in all capitals, italicized, is the name of a ship. So a name written in italic letters is the name of a ship, okay? It says a name written in small letters represents a living man, okay? A name written in all capital letters can only be one of two things. You're going to be one, a corporate of some kind, or a dead man's estate, okay? That's all that all capital letter name can mean. Check out the illustration. All right. Part 5, getting organized. So when you get mail addressed in the form of John Quincy Adams or John Quincy Adams in upper and lowercase, or like that, where it just has your your middle initial, or in all caps, we are unlearning all the lies we were taught. Absolutely. When you know better, you do. Absolutely, Empress. You can rest assured that it is not addressed to any American state national, and it is not addressed to the living man, even if it does happen to be your appellation. Check out the illustration. It says, darn it all, what's going on with all this misaddressed mail? King George still doesn't know who I am. I don't know what to tell you, John. After all the trouble you've caused, I'd expect him to know it by heart. Must be mail fraud. Mail fraud. All right, guys, let's keep going. The Articles of Confederation. The first act, 1781. While most people think that confederation means a loose association of states created for their mutual benefit, there is a darker meaning to the world, or to the word, familiar in criminal law, a collusion of self-interested parties to the detriment of others. Okay? In that sense, those who sought to create a national government via the Articles of Confederation. So let's read that again. It has two meanings. We talked about this in class 2. So confederation means most people think it means a loose association of states created for their mutual benefits. But the darker meaning to that word in criminal law is a collusion of self-interest parties to the detriment of others. Okay? So it says, in that sense, those who sought to create a national government via the Article of Confederation and those who later created the Constitution for the United States of America were criminals acting against the interests of their home states. Naturally, the organic states possessed air, land, and sea jurisdictions. The Articles of Confederation, which created a perpetual union of the states, created an unnatural superstate so that the jurisdiction could be split, with the states retaining the national level jurisdiction on the land, and the new entity which was to become the federal government could have control of the international jurisdiction of the sea. This loss of international jurisdiction was arguably a loss of detriment to the states, especially in that it created two masters, the state on the land and the federal government on the sea, and made the current dilemmas inevitable. So it's like a tug of war, land and sea, tugging and pulling between each other, okay? Let's check out the comments. Wow, I've been dead all these years and didn't know it, right? God bless you and thank you for being here and on board. Absolutely. Oh, welcome, Princess Bear Poker. I think you're new here, so welcome to the channel. Never seen your name before. Don't forget to wipe your feet at the door by smashing the like button. Absolutely, please hit that like button. But we got about the same amount of likes going on, so we doing good. So 1787 to 1789. It's a hot time in old Philadelphia. In the space of only 2 years, 1787 to 1789, two new nations and two national trusts were formed for the American colonies, acting under the perfected 1787 Supreme Republican Declaration of the United American Colonies. There was the United States Trust, 1787, and a new nation based on landed estates. This is the land trust owed to the organic states of the United Colonies, which underlies everything else. The actual name of the new nation was and is State of America. United, okay, was just an adjective. Okay, so it says the actual name of the new nation was and is States of America. It says united was just an adjective used to describe their affiliation, but this entity is better known as the continental United States. Okay, continental United States. Next, the United States of America, Federal United States, was created and defined by the Constitution for the United States of America, and the United States Trust of 1789 was set up to receive the assets granted to the federal government. Much later, a third national trust, the Public Charitable Trust, was set up by the corporate United States as a welfare fund to mitigate the suffering of Negroes displaced by the Civil War. This eventually morphed into the Social Security Fund. Wow. Interesting, interesting, interesting. It says, according to the 1824 Webster Dictionary, the word federal was a synonym for contract, and at the time, so federal government was contract government. Wow. All constitutions are contracts involving debt. In this case, the debt the American states incurred as a result of creating the federal government and agreeing to pay for several services it provided. The condo association. Think of it like a condo association. Each of the estates had their own land and sovereignty, yet they were all condo association members. Okay, so you got Alaska State, New York State, Georgia State. Then you have the federal workers and the federal government. There were certain tasks they either couldn't or didn't want to do for themselves, like raking leaves and mowing lawn, snow removal in winter, security all year long, garbage pickup, appliance maintenance, and so on. So they hired those 19 enumerated powers out of the federal government. Wow. At the time, the Americans had no navy, only a commercial fleet that was easy prey on the high seas. The British had the best navy in the world, and a desperate need for American raw materials. It was natural to strike a deal allowing the British to manage the jurisdiction of the sea and provide protection for American shipping. They made several treaties promising perpetual aid, friendship, and amity for the Americans, guaranteed by the British on the high seas and inland waterways. So you have the Treaty of Peace, the Treaty of Westminster, Perpetual Amity, and the Treaty of Ghent. Okay, these are important treaties that we all need to check out. In addition to the United States of America and the separate foreign entity operating the jurisdiction of the sea as the United States of America, there was a third party on the stage. The United States, a foreign, for-profit investment company, which under the leadership of its president, George Washington, is about to start supplying 19 enumerated services to the American states under an equity contract known as, drumroll, the Constitution for the United States of America. Wow. That's when the games begin. What that ain't. The office of the president. The office of president is and has always been a company office and later a corporate office, not a head of state. This is being the separate states. This is because the separate states are each sovereign nations acting for international purposes as a federation. The Ohio state is part of the Confederation of the United States of America, aka Continental United States, in the name in the same way as Bulgaria was part of the old Soviet Union. There are actually three presidential offices. You have President of the United States of America. Notice the small print. Then you have the major on the land, President of the United States of America, minor on the sea, and the President of the United States municipal. Okay? So you have major, minor, municipal. This is how Abraham Lincoln and Barack Obama, both of whom were all ineligible to serve as president of the United States of America, major, are nonetheless able to serve as president of the United States of America, minor, and as the president of the United States municipal. So they were minor and municipal presidents, but not major. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Here is an actual definition of president from the 1856 version of a law dictionary adapted to the Constitution and laws of the United States by John Bouvier. President, an officer of a company who is to direct the manner in which business is to be transacted. From the decision of the president, there is an appeal to the body over which he presides. Today, we would recognize this office as a chief executive officer or CEO. Okay? Frank R. Crumb, president of Crumbs Incorporated. The actual Constitution creating the federal United States and delegating the international jurisdiction of the sea to its name of the sea to its names, the president, commander in chief of armed forces, because he is responsible for defending the states from attack by foreign countries, and may also be called upon to settle disputes between states over a variety of federal control issues, including interstate commerce. Okay? How y'all doing in the chat? Major, minor, municipal, the presidential offices. Yes. Thanks for all y'all support. Absolutely. I remember asking about that wordplay about the signature and autograph. Yep, you sure did, Miss Vicky. So don't you guys think this is like divine that the next day we come and we read, like we're already reading this book, and then we come and we getting the answers to our questions that, may not have had too much clarity to yesterday. Okay, so it says commerce is business conducted between corporations, including the federal states of states like the state of Ohio and the state of Indiana. Corporations accrue income, hence the income tax. Trade is business conducted between people, associations, sole proprietors, simple partnerships, pure trust, and other unincorporated business structures. These entities accrue private property, not income. So it says trade is business conducted between people, associations, sole proprietors, simple partnerships, pure trust, and other unincorporated business structures. So these are private entities, okay? It's private property, not income. President number 1. The president's duty under the actual Constitution pertaining to the continental United States have never changed. His job is to determine how, not what, when, and how much, or where, at what cost, or why business is conducted. That is the business of the members of Congress, when and if they act as deputies, accountable fiduciary officers of their home states, like the Ohio state and the Wisconsin state, and the convene and convene a Continental Congress. The president's job with respect to actual states on the land is purely executive. He figures out how to do what the state deputies tell him to do, and the state deputies are directly accountable to the people, House representatives, and to the actual state legislator, Senate. Please note that the Ohio state legislator continental state is not the same as the state of Ohio legislator federal state. So you have Ohio state legislator, which is of the continental state, and then you have the state of Ohio legislator. That's the federal. So keep in mind, Ohio state, that's public. State of is always Ohio state, that's like the Republic side. The state of, that's the Democratic side. So that's the side we don't want to be on. We never want to be on anything of, because we are it. Okay, that is what it is. Oh my God. Oh my. Did someone say constitutional convention without saying which constitution or which states? Exactly. President number 2. The president's duty under the similarly named Constitution of the United States of America pertains solely to the affairs of federal states that operate in the international jurisdiction of the sea, including the states of states like the state of Ohio or the state of Ohio, okay? Or most recently, Ohio, but it's in all capitals, okay? So you have to pay attention to this. And their franchises. He has more power in this role, but is still limited in that the federal Congress acts as his board of directors, holds the purse strings on the federal pockets, on the federal budget, and so on. It is in this capacity that he introduces, lobbies for, or vetoes federal legislation. This is all in-house and only impacts federal states, like the state of Ohio, other federal corporations, federal territories, and United States citizens. So this has nothing to do with us, guys. President number 3, as president of the United States, a corporate CEO acting under the Constitution of the United States, no of America about it. He has been given dictatorial style power and can run federal functions by executive orders issued by federal municipal franchises incorporated under the law of the Washington, D.C. municipality and independent international city-state. The Washington, D.C. municipality has no actual authority outside of the physical boundaries of the United States, D.C., with respect to the continental United States, despite gross pretensions otherwise, and the president acting in this role has only the power of any other corporate CEO. The Washington, D.C. municipal government has created hundreds of millions of citizens for itself named after living Americans and American citizens and towns, and claims to own and operate all of these franchises and as chattel property. These are, as United States citizens, debt slaves, which exist only on paper, but which are used as devices to promote fraud against actual people, towns, counties, and cities. Okay? So, what is the Constitution? It is a two-part equity contract consisting of a trust indenture, preamble, and Bill of Rights, and a services agreement contract. It obligates the United States commercial company to provide certain enumerated services, including protection of the natural trust, and the subscribing states agree to pay for all of this. Sacred cowbell. No wonder United States citizens are so eager to defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. It's their meal ticket. American states citizens have a different view of it. That of increasingly disgusted customers. Okay, let me take a drink of water, please. Yeah, so you have a lot to learn, absolutely. Doing awesome. Okay. Serial Bo, welcome, peace. And thank you, Telly. Your new name and face here, so welcome and thank you. Um, so moving on, it says the third phase of the Constitution. As a document, the Constitution for the United States of America is straightforward, a trust indenture and a services contract. But there is another aspect to it that is a matter of function rather than form. The Constitution, the real one, is a trilateral international treaty. One, it binds each state to the federal union. Two, it binds each state to the other state. And three, it binds the state as a group to the federal union. Another important point to note is that all parties are acting in international commerce. Each state of America is, for the purpose of international law, a separate nation. So the Constitution represents a solemn treaty among many nations, obligating each to provide services or sustenance, or both, for the others, all of them interconnected according to the terms of the agreements reached. Other important facts to know: not all of the original 13 colonies signed on to the Constitution. Only 9 originally ratified it. The rest joined the Union at a later time, and new states were added under the Northwest Ordinance and the Equal Footing Doctrine for almost 100 years, right up until the Civil War. With the Civil War, the country entered a crisis that is still not resolved. As a result, no true American states, known as States of America, have been added to the federal union since 1860. All the states which exist in the western half of the United States of America are not really states of America under the Northwest Ordinance, because there has been no competent Congress convened since 1860 that is able to grant them such status. Instead, these states have been operated entirely as federal states and treated more or less like real states of America under separate compacts or trusts that agree to honor their incipient and land jurisdiction as if they were true states of the land. Please note that the people are not direct parties to the Constitution and have only second-hand subrogated standing. The states and the federal union are the direct parties obligated by the contract. Also notice that the Constitution is not the source of any of our rights or your rights and material interests. Instead, it restricts the federal union and limits it and provides guarantees protecting rights and prerogatives living people already have. Okay? Pick a constitution, any constitution. Step right up. Today only. Constitutions 3 for 5. Damn. The original equity contract, known as the Constitution for the United States of America, which created the federal United States, is built of articles of treaty. Amendments are slight changes or interpretations of the treaty made by agreement of the subscribing parties. There are 10 articles and 3 amendments to the original equity contract, including one known as the the Title of Nobility Amendment, or TONA, which does not appear in the corporate constitution published by the United States of America Incorporated, circa 1868. TONA made it explicitly impossible for members of the Bar Association to hold any public office because they were in receipt of a foreign title of nobility, Esquire. Amendments to the original equity contract require a properly seated Congress composed of deputies representing the landed estates or estates. So, and a lengthy ratification process by which state legislators operating in fiduciary capacity as state delegates or deputies. Because neither the Congress nor the state legislators have been operating in their proper capacity, no amendments have been made to the actual Constitution since 1860. This is the actual Constitution that establishes the law of the land. That is the law that the federal government must operate under, which with respect to the land jurisdiction and the people of the land. We are owed all our natural rights and a republican form of government. The corporate constitution, known as the Constitution of the United States of America, is built of articles of incorporation, a different kind of articles entirely. Amendments to this Constitution do not strictly require any ratification by the federal states. Franchises, and they only represent changes in public policy by the corporation, not any amendment of the actual Constitution creating the federal United States. This means that the 13th Amendment onward are not public law, only private law affecting the officers and employees of the United States of America Incorporated. The existence of this corporate constitution is a direct result of the fact that the federal United States is a separate and, with respect to us, foreign nation. It is allowed to organize its internal affairs as it sees fit, and it imposes whatever laws it wishes to apply to its citizens within its international territorial jurisdiction. This is why the entire federal code, including the Internal Revenue Code, persists in calling birthright citizens of the continental United States non-resident aliens. I'm a non-resident alien? From the perspective of the federal United States, we are aliens. When we enter their international jurisdiction, and we are either resident or non-resident in their federal states. The municipal constitution is known as the Constitution of the United States. But by now you are shaking your head and thinking, which United States? Continental, federal, or corporate? The short answer is corporate, just another form of corporate. This is the Constitution of the Washington, D.C. municipality, an independent international city-state run as an oligarchy by the members of Congress. It is an offshoot of the federal United States, which granted it a treaty similar to the treaty in the United States colonies granted to the continental United States, and which they granted in turn to the federal United States. Yes, we know the Constitution is expired and there is a new Constitution. We already know that. Verb of adverb, verb fiction. Bill Clinton said he was the last president and meant it. 1999. See. 1099, huh? Think of it like a set of nesting dolls. The Global Estate Trust chartered the United Colonies, which chartered the continental states, which chartered the federal states, which chartered the municipal city state. This municipal constitution is similar than the federal United States corporate constitution and is loosely based on it. The citizens of the Washington, D.C. municipality and its franchises are all debt slaves, including the state of Ohio and John Quincy Adams, interlocking trust dictatoriates. So you have the global state. One moment, guys. She got it in here. It's got to be in okay. So you have the global estate trust. Everything has to add up forward to backward in all legal documents, par syntax, quantum grammar, and be defined as color coded when you enter your papers. Parse syntax, quantum grammar. Yeah. Okay. State of states, guys. In addition to all these federal constitutions, thank you, honey. Because somebody want to be a teacher on somebody else's channel. I mean, damn. It's crazy. In addition to all these federal constitutions, there are also state level constitutions. There are the original state constitutions, which are treaties, and there are the federal constitutions, federal state constitutions, which are corporate charters, and there are federal state municipal constitutions, which are corporate municipal charters. The Ohio state is one of the continental United States operating on the land jurisdiction of the United Colonies. It's a republic. The state of Ohio is a corporate franchise of the federal United States operating the sea jurisdiction of the colonies. It's a constitutional democracy. The state of Ohio is a corporate franchise of the Washington, D.C. municipality, which is operating as an independent international city-state. It's an oligarchy operated by Congress. And just recently, the United States or the United Nations Inc. bought all the D.C. municipal franchises and is in the process of renaming them so that the state of Ohio will be operated by the United Nations as Ohio. And the John Quincy Adams Estate Trust will be operated as a public transmitting utility under the name John Q. Adams. So we're actually learning about these differences. We're going to be breaking more of that down in our Freedom Writers class about these different ways, because basically there's different trusts or different uses for the names that they've created. So there's like 3 different names, and all of your names are being utilized 3 different ways. Okay, well, your name is being utilized like 3 different ways. The Constitution versus a Constitution. Obviously, with all this semantic deceit flying from the fan, it is nearly impossible to carry on a sane conversation. Which United States are you talking about? Which state are you referring to? Which constitution? Which citizen? There is only one original equity contract trying any of continental United States to the federal tying any of the continental United States to the federal United States, and it is doubtful that the entities currently representing the federal United States have any standing to trade upon that contract. As we shall see, the federal United States has been repeatedly bankrupted by British and European interests, and various ploys have been used by these or those same interests to fraudulently entrap the assets of the continental United States in these bankruptcies. Our point: there's a reason for the use of all these deceptively similar names. Didn't I just say this? They have been used to promote fraud on a vast. So let's see. I guess I could give y'all a few more minutes of my time. Okay. So part 6. The Civil War, where everything ran amok. Okay. 1860, Abraham Lincoln is elected President of the United States Commercial Company. March 27th, 1861, 11 congressional delegations from the southern states walk out, leaving the Congress adjourned without an agreed upon date to meet again. Lincoln formed a Delaware corporation doing business as the United States of America, Inc., and installed the remaining members of Congress as a board of directors to continue to conduct business. Wow. The third big lie: the United States of America never signed any service contract with Lincoln's new corporation doing business as the United States of America, Inc. Lincoln merely traded upon the Constitution for the United States of America and substituted his corporation as a successor trustee. Wow. Please note, United States Commercial Company does not equal the United States of America Incorporated. Does not equal the United States of America Inc. Does not equal the United States Incorporated. What the fuck? And does not equal USA Inc. And does not equal US Corp. Does not equal the United States of America Inc. Notice all the different ways that is written, you all, or typed. Does not equal e pluribus unum, the United States of America Incorporated, and so on. All these similarly named corporate entities have been used to deceive and defraud the American states and the American people ever since. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. As a result, there is no valid contract binding the United States of America to any corporation merely claiming to be a successor to the United States Commercial Company, which Lincoln bankrupted on April 25th, 1863. No contract, none, zero, nada, zip. The international trustee, the Pope, the rector of the National Shrine, the British monarch, and since 1924, the Secretary of the Treasury should have intervened to protect the National Trust, and they all failed to do so. Fucking failures. They purposely did that shit. Despite the requirements of the only equity contract the Global Estate Trust had with the states of America, despite all the treaties promising friendship and amity in perpetuity, and despite the loyal support of the Americans through 2 world wars, these false treaties allowed these situations to continue and have profited from it for over 150 years. Queen Elizabeth II, hear no evil. Pope John II, see no evil. U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, a member of Congress, speak no evil. Fucking traitors. They are fucking traitors. One stinking word. Person. The word that has got everybody in trouble. 1862. The corporate Congress changes the meaning of the single word. That word was person. Board of directors. Man, the stuff that they did, y'all, was so fucking petty. It's not even funny. This is why it's so hard for people to believe this shit. But man, from 1862 to today, the word person means corporation in federal or federalese or legalese. Ever since that time, members of Congress have functioned as officers of a private, mostly foreign-owned corporation. Okay? For government purposes only, a person is no longer a people, it is a corporation. 37th Congress, Second Session, Chapter 49, Section 68. April 1863. On April 24th, 1863, Lincoln issued General Order 100 or 100 and put the Grand Army to the Republic. No, I'm no longer a person either. And put the Grand Army of the Republic in charge of the nation's destiny. On April 25th, 1863, he bankrupted the original United States Commercial Company. Wow. April 1865, as an armistice is signed, the southern states are in ruins and under military occupation. The northern states are bankrupt. There is no real government, just the army and a phony Congress operating as commercial corporation called the United States of America. President Andrew Johnson declared peace on the land 3 times. Peace is declared May 10th, 1865. Peace on the land, April 2nd, 1866. We are at peace, August 20th, 1866. Yet, despite the armistice signed by Grant on the land and the peace declared by Johnson, the Rump Congress, acting only as the board of directors of a private for-profit corporation, kept the war going in the jurisdiction of the sea. Together, the 39th and 40th congressional sessions violated the Constitution of the United States of America. They chartered under 6 different ways. 1. Article 5, Section 5 was violated as shown by the House of Journal, March 3rd, 1866, page 353. 2. Article 3, Section 3 was violated by the Reconstruction Act of 1867. 3. Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3 was violated by the Reconstruction Acts of 1867. Article 4, Section 4 was violated by the Reconstruction Acts. Denial of a Republican form of government to the southern state after the armistice. Number 5, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 was violated by the 39th Congress unlawfully exercising exclusive legislation outside their district and allowed federal enclaves. Number 6, Article 4, Section 3 was violated when the 39th Congress formed unlawful de facto federal states within the organic states of the Union to operate as franchises of the United States of America, Inc. Poisoning the well. The Reconstruction Acts of 1867 through 68. Peace and freedom. Members of Congress. The same corporate Congress claiming to represent the American states while acting as officers of a private for-profit deceptively named governmental services corporation created 5 military districts in 10 southern states and allowed the military district commanders to appoint judges to run civil tribunals and deal with rebels still at large. This created a form of law called Special Admiralty or Presidential Admiralty, which is not addressed under any constitution and not allowed under any constitution then or now. The courts practicing it display a stars and stripes with a heavy gold fringe. This administrative abuse of both civil Both civil authority and military power has continued abated for lack of a coherent and honest civil government ever since. More filth from the rump Congress. The Corporate Constitution. In 1868, the Corporate Congress published its corporate articles and bylaws as a new constitution, which is gratuitously wrote, which it graciously wrote all by itself and for itself. This Constitution, called the Constitution of the United States of America, was purposefully given a deceptively similar name to the Constitution for the United States of America to fool people, and it adopted much of the same language. It was a look-alike, sound-alike, fake, and a different kind of document entirely. As the articles and bylaws of the commercial corporation, there was no need for any ratification of the amendments by the several states. Any states created under this auspices could only be franchises of the parent community anyway. Secretary of the State William Seward simply declared the 14th Amendment to the Constitution ratified. More lip service was given to the process of ratification by the states. Yeah, don't worry. We ratified it properly. Sure, fellas, trust me. Everything is fine. Go back to sleep, right? Secretary of State William Seward. Okay. The 14th bylaw. The 14th Amendment excludes American state citizens from voting in the private corporate elections held by the United States of America, Incorporated. America's state citizens are referred to as peaceful inhabitants of the land, and they are specifically disenfranchised. The fourth rotten fraud upon the people. All persons, which means corporations and federales and citizens of the United States, didn't say United States of America. This is talking about the commercial corporation and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, which is not the jurisdiction of the land, but instead a corporate and commercial jurisdiction that existed only in the international jurisdiction of sea. The 14th Amendment seems to be talking about people on the land, but instead of talking about corporations belonging to the United States, Inc., operating in the jurisdiction of the sea. It is purposefully, maliciously, deceitful in every respect designed to confuse anyone who wasn't in on the scam and aware of the federal meanings of person adopted in 1862. The same 14th Amendment established federal states, that is, state franchises of the federal corporation, and extended territorial jurisdiction to them. Hot Dog Queen Incorporated today established state franchises in every state of the union. And because it is cheaper to operate under the laws of Bangladesh, all employees of these states will be paid $4 a day. A group of crooks running a private for profit, mostly foreign owned corporations usurped our rightful government. Sure, they were elected to some kind of office in something called the United States Congress, whatever United States that might be, and whichever Congress either. Was it the Congress of the United States or the Congress of the United States? The Congress of the United States, or maybe the Congress of the United States of America, or maybe the U.S. Congress, or could it be? Oh yes, I am here in Washington, D.C. representing you in our grand old State of the Union, and any old way I please with no accountability whatsoever. Congressman, that's one of your congressmen. The fraud has been ongoing since 1861, guys. Just so we are clear, When American state citizens elect members of Congress to public office, those people take their oaths to the United States. Notice the difference. The United States of America, which is the major, and they act as deputies, fiduciary officers, who are 100% individually and commercially liable for their acts. When United States citizens elect members of their corporate Congress to private corporate offices, they take their oaths to the United States corporation, and they merely claim to represent the people and the places they came from or come from. Okay? Representatives, like actors of other kinds, can represent people any way they wish, and they bear no responsibility for a poor performance. Pledge of Allegiance. Securing your individual consent. Pledge. An ancient. Oh, so it says I is securing your individual consent. Then pledge is an ancient feudal act of admitting servitude to a king. My allegiance, giving fealty to a king, to the United States of America, Incorporated, and to the republic, that's us, for which it stands. The perpetrators popularized the Pledge of Allegiance through public schools across America as a means of securing verbal contracts and brainwashing 3 generations of school children. Yep. Nobody asked, why would the Republic, our rightful government, need anything else to stand for it? Exactly. The best argument for never voting in any of our elections. Ha ha ha. Well, it's your fault. It's your own fault. You are the one who gave me the proxy and let me represent you. You should have known better than that. You people are stupid. That's the Senator Pirate. 2nd of February 1861. We have to learn and understand the language they use. Absolutely. 41st Congress. Third session, chapter 62, 63, 64, 65. The Congress declared itself to be the successor of all United States corporations and the property of all said corporations. They claimed to own every corporation in America that was formed under U.S. auspices. And that claim to own all corporations is why they incorporate you. It's alive. You will obey my very command. What the heck just happened? Y'all know? Oh. Let me see. Okay, I got a few more pages for this chapter. So it says the dilemma, the dilemma of the states, and states of states. All these states and states. The original state of New York represented the landmass, state, and the people inhabiting the actual state. As a result of the Civil War conundrum, this original state of New York was reconstituted as the New York State, and the name State of New York was instead applied to the newly created federal state of New York, operating in the jurisdiction of the sea. We also have the state of New York, operating under the draconian military law of Washington, D.C. municipality. As if that wasn't enough, the UN Corporation has gotten into the act and sponsored its state's franchise operating simply as New York. Thanks to the duplicity and the deceit involved in operating two states, one or more, at the same time, the state legislators are not fulfilling their proper function for the jurisdiction on the land. This has resulted in the federal government running amok and rampant over the rights of actual states and the people inhabiting them. Let's see. Have to go, family. I will catch up on the replay. Grand. Okay, Empress. See you later. Take care. Be safe out there. The problem has been exacerbated by the fact that no new states on the land have been added to the Union since 1860. This is because Congress stopped functioning as a Congress of deputies representing the state on the land and has no power to actually create and add new states to the land via the Northwest Ordinance and equal footing doctrine ever since. Technically, the Western states are not states. They are states in waiting, promised all the perks and rights by the commercial contract and trust indenture, but having no separate and sovereign state under international law. Wow. Correction requires the legislators of the original states on the land formed prior to 1860 to resume functioning in behalf of the land jurisdiction and to hold the federal government and the global estate trust to account. It remains for all Americans to hold the members of Congress to account and to force them to convene as deputies as required by the Constitution for the United States of America and to invoke the Northwest Ordinance and equal footing doctrine to fully seat and create the Western state as states on the land, not quasi federal possessions, old equivalent rights. As this brief expose shows, a tremendous amount of confusion has been deliberately and inexclusively added to the original government structure, and that confusion has been used by crooks to defraud and control both Americans and the American states on the land, as is also evident. A good deal of blame for this come home to the United States Congress, which has grotesquely and criminally malfunctioned for many decades, leaving a great deal of housekeeping and house cleaning to be done. As is also apparent, the Global Estate Trust and the international trustees responsible have failed to honor their sacred trust. The popes have ignored and profited from this situation, and so have the British monarchs. The actual trustee responsible for administering the land jurisdiction was outflanked by the renegade Congress, and his office was made subservient to none other than the Secretary of the Treasury, and the criminally inclined banking cartels had chosen bankruptcy trustee, the Secretary of the Treasury of Puerto Rico. If there remains any kind of lawful authority vested in any human institutions on earth, the church, the British monarchy, the Congress, the individual state legislators, the United States or the United Nations, the World Court, anything, anywhere, then these acts of fraud and neglect must be recognized for what they are and forthrightly corrected. Otherwise, we must stop pretending that there is any such thing as the rule of law and admit that those presenting or pretending to administer law have instead operated as brigands and con artists, acting as predators against the people and nations they have always been under contract and obligation to serve and protect. SOS, Mayday, Mayday, any lawful courts or governments left on on earth? Right. Thanks, peace to all and all on this channel. Peace to you, Pt.2. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Okay, so natural law, democracy, the contract. The founders of the United States of America defined law to the law of nature and nature's God, which is law that derives its moral authority from nothing less than nature of the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit. Men are born free to walk, talk, gather together, express their complaints, contract, work, trade, to walk, to have a home, to enjoy the fruits of their labor, own property, and to do many, many other things freely by nature. Those rights are natural law, and they are unalienable. They cannot be deprived nor taxed. Those who live within the new law are law abiding, and those who live outside the law are outlaws when on land and pirates on the sea. The Bible forbids mankind from making legislation, Deuteronomy 4 and 2, and for Christians, the true law was further reduced to only two precepts: to love God, Matthew 23 and 37, and to love your neighbor as yourself, Mark 12 and 31. Last page. The laws, if properly observed, are complete, entire, and sufficient for the conduct of all business, all relationships, and all needs. They lead directly to moral behavior among men. Unfortunately, democracy, which literally means mob rule, is immoral because it constantly violates the inherent rights of individuals, and the United States of America, in their minor capacity, composed of 57 federal states, is a constitutional democracy. If 51% of their neighbors or your neighbors wish to eat you for dinner, they may do so by invoking majority rule in a democracy, which is precisely why our forefathers ordained and our um, contract with Global Estate Trust requires a Republican form of government, which respects the natural rights of individuals above the law, above the wishes of majority. This is a major contractual failure on the part of the Global Estate Trust and those individuals and offices responsible for maintaining the rule of law. They get a big fat F. All right, guys. So, well, we read like 3 chapters today. So that's what we've been pretty much doing, 3 chapters a day. So we're down. We are at 100 and page 7 is where we're going to pick up at tomorrow, and we'll talk about more chicanery. Okay. All right. Let's check the. Don't forget to hit the like button. Absolutely, we got plenty of likes in on board. So I thank you all for your time and coming to listen to the reading today. Um, Come join us this evening if you can for meditation. We're trying to raise the collective consciousness, raise the vibrations across the planet by meditating together as a collective. So that is at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will need to be a part of the Telegram channel in order to get access to our Zoom meeting links. So if you need access, then you will need to contact me by email, or you can add me on Facebook. My email address is ShayMarieInc@gmail.com. And if somebody can put that in the chat for me, that would be great. And then you can also find me on Facebook at Empress ShayMarie Bay. And Empress is spelled with just an M. So it's Mpress. Empress ShayMarie. ShayMarie. You can look me up on Facebook and send me a message on there, and I'll get you the non-disclosure agreement that you'll have to sign and fill out. You'll not only have to sign it, it needs to be completely filled out from the first page all the way to the last page where it has to be signed. Okay? The quicker you can get that done and send back to me, the faster it can be added to the group. So, with that being said, let's see. Thanks, Empress, for the time and dedication you get to the Kindreds, our team. Absolutely, you're welcome. Thank you, Miss Empress Shay. You all are very welcome. I love you all. If anyone would like to make a donation, donate to the cause or donate to help continue the education and the research and development of this information and then of the sources and resources, you know, you may do so by the information. No, honey, it's not LLC at Gmail. It's just ShayMarieInc at gmail.com. Thank you. I appreciate your assistance. It's ShayMarieInc at gmail.com. No LLC behind it at all. Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys want to contact me or make a donation, just check the description area. Also, if you're gonna send a cash app, you're gonna have to contact me by email or on Facebook. Either way, just contact me and I'll direct you in the right way. So that is it for today, you guys. I appreciate you all. I love you all. We'll be back tomorrow for the next part of this book. Very great book. Lots of great information to help us dive deeper into this rabbit hole. So with that being said, yep, thank you, honey. Appreciate it. Yep. All right. I love you all. You all have a great day. Peace and love. And I'll see you all tomorrow.